You really have the nerve to show up with that face, huh? A former classmate is being ridiculed. Seeing her remaining silent and about to cry, I felt a surge of anger. Cut it out, will you? I'd immediately stepped in to defend my former classmate. When she looked up to face me, my heart skipped a beat. What's the matter? A farmer from the countryside trying to act cool or something. Now it was my turn to be mocked for being a farmer. She hasn't grown up a bit since high school. Thinking that, I smiled and patted my former classmate on the shoulder. Do you know who she really is? Right after, the tables turned dramatically due to the actions of my former classmate. I am Matthew Smith, a single man running a farm in a regional city. Our family has a long history of farming dating back to my great-grandfather's generation. Thus, we're quite large-scale and have a fair number of employees. Matthew, it's time to go harvest. Got it. Having helped with the family farming business since I was young, I've always taken pride in being a farmer. After graduating high school, I chose not to go to college and instead helped with the family business. Farming is complex. Listen, Matthew, farming is a battle against many elements. If you let your guard down even a little, you won't get good vegetables. The more effort we put in, the more the vegetables will respond. I was repeatedly taught the essence of farming by my grandparents and parents. Subject to the whims of weather and climate, any negligence would prevent the crops from growing well. It's a tough job, but it's genuinely rewarding to produce delicious vegetables. I want to incorporate various technologies for my generation. Our field is yours to do as you please now. That's right. Do it your way. I've put effort into modern agriculture, venturing into rare and challenging to grow vegetables. Thanks to this, our family is well known in the area. Matthew, someone came looking for that new vegetable you've been growing. Thank you, Michael. The person who called out to me is Michael Jones. He's one of the key supporters of our farm along with his wife. His wife is currently pregnant and on maternity leave. However, she sometimes shows up to help out without overexerting herself, for which I'm truly grateful. Well, I'm going to check on the veggies. Yes, please do. He's knowledgeable about rare vegetables and supports my ideas, helping to grow them together. That's why I can trust him with the work confidently. Matthew, I'll head to the field with the interns first. Thanks, I appreciate it. The next person to speak to me was Jacob Miller. He just graduated from college and started working in our fields. He is multilingual and has been leading the foreign agricultural training program we recently introduced. His kind nature has made him popular among the interns. All right, time for me to get to work too. With the help of many, I've been making delicious vegetables. I've been spending each day taking care of my vegetables when... Matthew, you've got a letter. Thanks. The letter was to inform me about a high school reunion. It seems that they are organizing a reunion for my grade from our high school. The venue this time is in New York. Usually, it would be held in our hometown, but many classmates had moved to New York for college and ended up working there. So it looks like it's going to be held in New York this time. I wonder if I'll see her in New York. The person that comes to mind is someone special to me, a classmate named Emily Williams. Maybe I'll get to see her since she had gone to New York. With that thought, I decided to make arrangements to attend. Emily, I need your help again today. Emily was known to be beautiful back in high school. However, she always looked down because of a large scar on her face. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. You're always such a big help, Matthew. You're always busy helping out at home, aren't you? I was interested in her. Emily was smart, so I made up the excuse of wanting her to check my homework to talk to her, and eventually, we became friends. You really have a way of teaching, Emily. Thank you. You're kind, Matthew. You think so? I think you're the kind one. The reason I started to take an interest in Emily was because of the presence of other classmates like Sarah Brown and her group. Matthew's family is a bunch of farmers. That's probably why he smells like soil. He's probably covered in mud every day. Because of my family farm, I was always ridiculed by Sarah and her flashy, popular group. To them, I would retort, "So what if we're farmers? It's because of farmers that you get to eat vegetables. Have you done anything significant enough to mock others?" I took pride in our farm, so I always fought back. Sarah and her group would laugh it off, saying, "It's just the truth." I suppose they found my constant comebacks somewhat annoying. Eventually, we became like cats and dogs. Interestingly, it was only them who ridiculed me. Other classmates didn't mock me. "Sarah is annoying you again, huh?" They're annoying, always bragging or putting others down. In fact, they distanced themselves from Sarah's group. "Emily, with that scar on your face, I'm surprised you can come to school. If it were me, I'd be too embarrassed to show my face." They also ridiculed Emily for her appearance. Emily responded differently from me towards them. She just silently endured it, being a woman and having such a scar. "Emily, there's something I don't understand of the homework. Could you help me?" I just couldn't leave her alone, so I started talking to Emily and made sure I was there for her. In doing so, I was able to protect her from Sarah and her group, albeit slightly. "What are you going to do after high school, Matthew?" "I'm not going to college. I plan to focus on farming. I have various things I want to do, and while my grandparents are still healthy, I want to get their opinions. What about you, Emily?" "I'm planning to go to a university in New York." Since then, I haven't seen Emily, who went off to university in New York. However, I occasionally heard rumors about her. Emily is working hard, so I should too. Every time I hear about her, it inspires me to do my best. Emily's existence supports me even to this day. I would really like to see her. She must have become more mature and even more beautiful than before. Maybe she doesn't remember much about me. Still, I wanted to see Emily as she is now. Deciding to attend the reunion, I told my parents I'd be away from home for a while. "Is that so? We'll be looking forward to the souvenir. And maybe you'll find a potential wife while you're at it." "What are you talking about, Dad?" As I retorted to my dad's words, Emily was still crossing my mind. I never really had a girlfriend through high school, and I hadn't met anyone special since graduating. To me, Emily was still a significant figure, perhaps even idealized in my memory. That's why I wanted to see her again. Typical New York with so many tall buildings. Arriving in New York, I was immediately overwhelmed by the sheer number and height of the buildings, but that feeling was short-lived. It feels so fresh here. I'm glad I came. My excitement rose quickly in the city, which I hadn't visited for a long time. I spent the day dropping off my luggage at the hotel I had booked in advance and wandering around, buying unique city-only souvenirs. After thoroughly enjoying myself, I decided to rest early to prepare for the reunion the next day. So, this is the venue for the reunion. New York hotels are indeed stylish. The reunion was held in a hotel banquet hall. Stepping in with a bit of nervous excitement, I started to see familiar faces. "Hey, it's Matthew. Wow, it's really you. It's been so long. Long time no see, you guys." My friends quickly recognized me and greeted me warmly. In response, I smiled back at them. We slapped each other's shoulders as we used to. "Well, it's been such a long time, and still that awful scar." Then, from the back, we heard an unnecessarily loud voice. Turning our gaze, we saw a group dressed in flashy attire. Ah, that's Sarah and her crew, unchanged in the worst way. They've been bringing up something, but now it seems they'd found someone to bother. It appears Sarah was among them. Our friends looked on with annoyance. Feeling uneasy, I approached the group, and it seemed they were causing a commotion. Really, how persistent can you be? That was Sarah, laughing and pressing against someone. It was Emily. "Are you even listening? I'm talking to you. You hadn't changed at all. And to think you'd show up looking like that. Emily, just like in high school, was looking down, alone, holding back tears. Even at this age, they're still bullying like high schoolers. Feeling that surge of anger, I raced over to them. Cut it out, will you? As I did, I shielded Emily behind me. Wait, is that you, Matthew? Emily said, surprised, looking up at me. Seeing her like that, I couldn't help but feel a jolt of emotion. It's been a while, I managed to say, finding myself at a loss for words in front of her, who had become even more beautiful than she was back in high school. The scar was still there, yes, but it was hardly noticeable, maybe because of her makeup. Even though I had stepped in to protect her, I found myself frozen, overcome by nervousness. What's this? The country farmer thinks he's some kind of hero. That mocking tone from Sarah was what finally got me going. Looking at her, I retorted, I've always said, what's wrong with farming? You all eat vegetables, don't you? I shifted my focus from Emily and coldly retorted, I objected coldly. These people really haven't changed. Looking at Sarah with a mix of astonishment and disdain, I thought about how childish it was of her to still engage in such petty harassment. At that moment, something occurred to me. Does Sarah even know about Emily's current situation? Is she aware and still choosing to harass her this way? No, that can't be. If she knew, she wouldn't be acting like this. Thinking this, I couldn't help but smile at the thought of what's about to unfold because of Sarah's actions. What are you smiling about? Do you know who she really is? I said this while putting my arm around Emily's shoulder, facing Sarah. Sarah looked puzzled at first, but her expression quickly shifted back to one of disdain. What can she possibly be with that face? Let me guess, some low-level worker at some company, right? Even if she got the job out of pity because of her scar, it's nothing to brag about. She continued to look down on us. So you really don't know anything, huh? My smile widened. You see, she's a CEO. She's far more successful than you could ever hope to be. A CEO? No way. I can't believe it. Sarah scoffed at my words. Apparently, she doesn't listen to my words. Thank you, Matthew. Emily then stepped forward and pulled out a business card, offering it to Sarah. I apologize for the late introduction. I'm Emily Williams, the CEO of my company. The business card displayed her title as CEO and her name, Emily Williams. Do you ever talk back, Emily? Me having a scar is true after all, she said. Back in high school, Emily was always self-conscious about the scar on her face and tended to keep to herself. Sarah and her group often mocked her for that scar, and I was always concerned about it. I don't think it's something you should care so much about. I tried to reassure her, making an effort to engage her in conversation. That's how we started talking more, just the two of us. I can feel confident about myself because of this scar, Emily told me one day. At her words, I couldn't help but tilt my head in confusion. Is having a scar really that bad? She responded, her eyes widening in surprise at my question. I've always wondered something while farming. Hey, why can't this be shipped? It's because it has a scar, was the answer. Scarred vegetables can't be shipped out. If they aren't perfect and unblemished, the agricultural cooperative won't accept them. Similarly, vegetables that don't meet the standard criteria are also rejected. But these taste just as good. In reality, the flavor of pretty vegetables, scarred vegetables, and non-standard vegetables is equally delicious. In fact, some scarred vegetables taste even better. I understand what you're saying, Matthew. My grandmother used to say vegetables with scars often become tastier, as if making up for their flaws, she would explain, always cooking the unsellable vegetables for us at home. I shared this with Emily. Whether you have a scar or not doesn't change who you are. It's all about what's inside that counts. Having scars means you've experienced pain, and that can make you grow into a better person. I encouraged Emily. Hearing my words seemed to lift the weight off her shoulders, and from that day on, she no longer hung her head. Sometime later, I heard the story behind this scar from my mom. Emily shared with me quietly. It turned out she was attacked by a neighbor's dog when she was just a child. A large dog had escaped and went after Emily while she was out with her family. Her pregnant mother was there, and Emily, even as a child, had tried to protect her mother and the unborn sibling. My dad was a bit further away, but managed to chase the dog off quickly, so fortunately, it didn't get worse, she explained. So it's like a medal of honor then, I responded. Yes, it's my medal for protecting my mom and sibling. I'm not ashamed of it anymore, she said with the most beautiful smile I had ever seen. After that, Emily became even more dedicated to her studies. Matthew, I got accepted into a university in New York, Emily shared with me one day. That's amazing. I knew you could do it, Emily. She continued to maintain top grades in her class and entered the famous university. In college, she studied business administration and, after graduating, started her own company. Her business model involved buying unsellable fruits and vegetables directly from farmers and selling them directly to customers. Currently, she sells primarily in the metropolitan area, sourcing from nearby regions. Most of her customers are from the city, but the freshness, taste, and the lower prices due to the products being damaged or non-standard have also made her online sales popular. Thanks to that, I'm gradually gaining fans nationwide, Emily said, her demeanor much more confident than before. Seeing her like this made me feel a bit proud. I had known about Emily's company through our connection in agriculture and had been cheering for her from afar. I had been looking forward to seeing her after so long, but I couldn't stand by and watch Sarah mock her like in the old days. I'm sorry, Emily, for spilling the beans about your work. I just couldn't keep quiet, I apologized. It's okay. Thank you. Actually, your defense helped me find the courage to stand up for myself. After impulsively revealing Emily's profession, I felt a bit of regret. However, she no longer had the tearful look from before. She was looking forward, her eyes full of determination. Actually, I buy vegetables from here too, Sarah murmured in shock after looking at the business card Emily had given her. Her entourage leaned in to take a peek at the card and then exclaimed in surprise, recognizing the company name. Oh, that company. Well, it's well known, isn't it? It seemed her classmates were familiar with the company too, and they began to make a fuss over Emily. She smiled back at them, standing firm and looking straight ahead. Thank you for your patronage, she said. At those words, Sarah turned pale and was at a loss for words. Her followers, feeling awkward, started to drift away from her. I'll be taking my leave now. Unable to bear the stares from those around her, Sarah eventually left the venue. As Sarah left, our classmates started to applaud Emily, who gave a slightly embarrassed but lovely smile. You've become quite the celebrity, I noted as a crowd gathered around Emily, making it impossible for me to get close. I smiled bitterly and watched the scene from a distance. Emily is now talked to by everyone, unlike back then. Feeling a mix of happiness and a bit of loneliness, Emily broke away from the group and came over to me. Thanks for helping me out there, she said with shy gratitude, looking as beautiful as ever. Don't mention it. But should you be talking to me? Everyone seems to want to talk to you. It's fine. I want to talk to you, she insisted, making me fight back a grin of happiness. Because of you, I don't worry about my scar anymore, Emily said, gently touching her scar. But when Sarah started mocking me, I couldn't help but freeze up, remembering the past. Because you helped me, just like in high school, I was able to stand up to her. I was really happy. My help? I asked, surprised by her words. Emily smiled. Vegetables with scars taste better, right? I decided to compete based on what's inside, which motivated me to study hard, and thanks to that, I became a CEO. I was captivated by her smiling face. I never imagined my words would change Emily's mindset. "Thank you, Matthew," she said, making me feel unexpectedly pleased. "Oh, Matthew, actually, I have something work-related to discuss. Could we meet later?" So we agreed to meet after the reunion. I was planning to return to my hometown the next afternoon, so we met in the morning at a cafe she had chosen. "I want to make a contract with your farm," she revealed. She offered me a deal. "We've only been dealing with farms in the capital area so far, but we're planning to expand nationwide. So please let us handle your vegetables too." Emily bowed her head to me, expressing her gratitude. Well, I thought it wasn't necessary to go that far. I nodded with a smile. "I'm looking forward to working together." "Me too. I'm looking forward to our partnership." I gladly accepted her request, and Emily and I became business partners. "I fulfilled a dream," she chuckled. "Ha. I've always dreamed of handling your farm's vegetables," she mentioned. The idea to start her business was inspired by me. After tasting our vegetables, she was determined to include them in her business. "But your vegetables are so well known, Al. I thought it would be disrespectful to approach you with my small startup. That's why I worked hard to grow my company to a level you'd hear about." Her dedication impressed me, and to think she valued our vegetables that much. "I'm glad to hear you say that. It's beneficial for us too, not having to discard good vegetables, and it's great that more people get to enjoy them. Yes, I'd want everyone to taste the vegetables from your farm." After returning home, I quickly told Michael about signing a contract with Emily's company. "That's amazing. Her company was even featured on TV the other day," he responded, clearly pleased. This reassurance made me feel confident about the decision to partner with her. Matthew, there's something else I need to discuss, even though it might overlap with the contract topic." Michael then brought up a new subject. It turns out a local school had approached us about the possibility of hosting some experiential learning sessions. Jacob was particularly excited about this opportunity. "How do you feel about Jacob handling this, Michael?" I asked. "I think he's more than capable," he replied, offering a supportive smile that felt like a nudge in the right direction. "Let's leave the school matter to Jacob then. Michael, could you support him in this?" "Of course," he agreed. "Looks like we're going to be busy," I said to Michael, feeling genuinely excited about what lay ahead. After some time passed, Emily, you came to visit again today." Emily frequently visited our farm, combining her visits with trips back home. It seems quite lively today. Actually, today we have kids from the local school here for a field trip. "That's wonderful," she said, turning her gaze towards the field. There, the neighborhood children were harvesting vegetables with bright, sparkling eyes. It was heartwarming watching them interact with Jacob and the interns with smiles. This farm is special. The vegetables here bring smiles to many people. I always feel like I want to stay here forever." Hearing those words, I couldn't help but look at Emily's face. As we've seen each other more and more, our relationship has grown closer, and now, perhaps it's the right time to express my feelings to her. "Emily, would you go out with me?" I asked her. This time she looked at me and said, "I have a scar on my face. To me, that doesn't matter at all. Even with a scar on your face, your heart is beautiful," I reassured her. Hearing my words, she nodded with a radiant smile, and so we began dating and eventually decided to get married. "What about your job in New York?" I inquired. "We're in the age of remote work now," she replied. She married into my family and continued her role as a CEO from our home. "Is work going okay?" I asked. "Yes, no problem at all. In fact, I did more here in this quiet environment than I did in New York," she assured me. My parents welcomed Emily warmly. "We're so happy to have a beauty like you join our family," they said. "Really? We were worried Matthew might never get married. but we're truly grateful that someone as beautiful as you has married him." No one dared to mention the scar on her face. It seemed that everyone appreciated her for who she was, not her appearance. With my face, the scar doesn't matter at all. Matthew fell in love with you for who you are. You must be an incredible person, my grandmother told her. She and Emily had become very close, often seen chatting together. Everyone here is just like you, wonderful people. Exactly. Everyone knows that even if they have scars, it's what's inside that counts, I said, and Emily smiled brightly in response. We were blessed by many at our wedding. We invited all our classmates except for one person, Sarah, of course. I heard a rumor that Sarah got divorced. Apparently, Sarah had married a wealthy man and bragged about it, but her husband's company had dealings with Emily's company. Through that connection, he found out about the situation, leading to a big fight and their divorce. It seems they had a child, but the husband took custody. Sarah used her child as a trophy but lacked affection for that child. Thus, even her child grew distant, leaving her to lead a lonely life now. I heard she's desperately trying to earn child support. Apparently, Sarah spends her days working various jobs, insisting she do anything but farming. That's unfortunate. I'd consider hiring her if she genuinely humbled herself, but that's unlikely with her pride. It also seems that her former friends tried to fit in elsewhere, but faced rejection. Well, she reaped what she sowed. She should have cultivated her inner self instead of mocking others' appearances. I muttered, choosing to focus on my wedding. Matthew, is there anything I can help with? I'd love your help, but what about your work? It's fine. I've just finished a task, and I could use physical activity as a break. Emily helps out with the farming in between her work. Thanks to her, we've significantly reduced waste in our produce. As a result, our income has been steadily increasing. Also, thanks to her, my unique vegetables can now reach customers nationwide. By the way, Michael's wife said she wanted to thank you. Thank me. She said her child loved the weaning food she made with the vegetables you grew. Emily beamed happily at my words. Michael's child was born healthy and is now happily keeping Michael and his wife busy. We should hang out with them again soon. Sure, we should. Jacob has gained confidence from leading the recent field trip and has become more proactive. He's currently abroad, sharing agricultural knowledge in the interns' home countries. We can't be outdone by them. Today, we're both out in the field, sweating under the sun. A year later, we were blessed with a lovely son. Now, the three of us spend our days in the field. I wonder if he'll want to farm like us one day. Who knows? He might even say he wants to be a CEO someday. We discussed our child's future with smiles on our faces, looking forward to what lies ahead. However, we're determined to teach him to value people's inner qualities over their appearances. Our farm is a place where people of all races come together. We want him to be exposed to such diversity and learn to see the worth in everyone. With that thought, I gently stroked Aaron's head.